Hey everybody, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Five of Wands. And Three of Wands. Kind of feels like something that needs to be worked out maybe before you can move any further, but this also feels like it's linked with something later down the timeline. So maybe this is some type of problem solving that you're doing now about something that's going to be taking place later, something that's being figured out, something that needs to be sort of agreed upon. Then I'm also seeing the Sun, and I'm seeing Four of Cups too. Sun shedding light on the Four of Cups feels like if you've been feeling like you had less energy, the Sun coming out feels almost like you're going to be feeling like you snap back into place. Like if you've been feeling lower energy than usual, or you haven't been feeling as connected, or you haven't been feeling as inspired, or you haven't been feeling as creative, or it's just been a time that feels more dull, having the Sun come out here feels like that's going to shift. Or maybe things haven't been feeling fun, or you've been doing things and then you just haven't been having the experience of things being fun and enjoyable. Having the Sun feels kind of like some light that's going to be radiated. Some of you may start taking vitamins. If you need so, I don't know. I'm kind of like getting that vibe from the Sun and the Four of Cups. If you're going to be taking something, speak with a medical professional. But yeah, I kind of get that. I get like not getting enough sun or something like that for some of you. But this can also be metaphorically speaking. Because when we're in that Four of Cups, it feels kind of like that blue, the lights dimming, but not really in a sultry way. It's kind of like the lights dimming and things getting cold, and then feeling like you start getting cold. And having the Sun come through, this feels like something that's going to warm you up. So maybe after something started becoming cold, it's going to be warmed up. Eight of Swords, Knight of Wands. You have something that you want to do, but you can be overthinking it. So Knight of Wands is like, hey, let's do this. It's that part of you that's like, this looks exciting, or I want to go in this direction, or I want to take charge and do this thing. But then Eight of Swords, you can get stuck just thinking and then not taking action. I feel like something mental health related is going on here. Kind of get the vibe from that. Mental health, spiritual health. Whatever this is that's coming to light, that's connected with the future, you can just feel like you're not in that place. I wanted to, like, if presently you have something going on where you have to make a decision about something later down the timeline, you can be like, I don't feel like I'm later down the timeline. I feel like I'm here. And so having a difficult time putting yourself in that place to sort of know, because you can be feeling very different than you would expect to feel later on. And so how are you meant to know what to do here, what to base this off of? But I feel with the Knight of Wands, with us ending this part of the reading with the Knight of Wands, it feels like needing to let yourself do what feels exciting or what feels interesting, or like whatever your preference is, like whatever you feel most sort of intrigued to be doing here, letting yourself just do that, whatever it is, in regard to this. Like, let yourself have fun, be spontaneous. Feels like less maybe worrying too. Because the Knight of Wands, sometimes we need to be brave to connect with that energy. It can also be something that is bringing that theme up too. So now I'm seeing 8 of Cups and I'm seeing 10 of Wands. This looks like a tuning in and needing to make a decision based off of the tuning in that's being done, but can feel like it's putting a lot on your plate. I feel like a light bulb turning on in your head. I kind of get the feeling of something that's constantly problematic that you may be like, I don't want to do this anymore, actually. Is that what this is? But then you're like, but then what's going to happen later? Something that you don't want to do now. So why do it? You may just decide you don't want to. Feels like something takes a lot of energy and it's constantly problematic. This just feels like like you work something out and then it's good for a minute and then there's a problem again and then you have to work something out and then it's good for a minute and then there's a problem again. It feels kind of like that, because seeing 4 of Cups be connected with it, it feels like I don't want to have to problem solve anymore. I don't want to have to do this anymore. Because you know, with the 5 of Wands, if something is worth it to you, it's like, regardless of the problems that pop up, this is where I stand, this is the boat that I'm in, and I'm down for this. This feels like something that you're like, it's problematic and like it's not worth it to me to have to keep doing this. And you may just decide that enough has been enough now. Like maybe you don't want to problem solve with this anymore. Maybe it's like not feeling worth it to you. But then if you do that, you can be worried about like, then what's gonna happen? I think then what's going to happen is that you're going to feel happier later on. Because I think something like it's not fun for you, and it's not like everything needs to be 100% fun all the time, but this kind of feels like if this is the type of thing that you're looking at and you're like, I don't even have energy to do this anymore. It feels like the difference between, like, let's say that you have a car and it keeps breaking down and you love the car, you're going to be willing to keep fixing it over and over again because you love the car and it's worth it to you and you don't want to give it up. And so it's like, that's just part of me loving the car, is having to take care of it and having to problem solve all the time. But if you don't even like fancy the car so much and you're seeing it break down constantly, you may decide that you don't want to drive that car anymore, metaphorically speaking. I mean, literally, sure, but for most of you, metaphorically speaking. And so you can say that maybe you feel kind of drained from all of the energy that this takes because it's not smooth and it's taking, I think, more than you're willing to give at this point. You can just feel like you don't have anything left and that this is just too problematic. And it can be something that you don't want to be doing anymore. And if you do this, I think you're sort of choosing joy and choosing, I think, to listen to how you really feel and what's really going on and what your truth is in this moment, in this instance. I think too, this will help you clear some stuff up, because if you've been feeling like you constantly have to fight or you constantly have to work things out or you constantly have to put energy into something to try to figure it out and you're feeling really tired, once you're alleviated from that, like, things are really going to change. I think mostly mental health for a lot of you. That's what I'm getting with this. Can be like your inspiration. It can be connected with your energy. It can be connected with your just like sense of well-being, because that's what the sun is connected with. Maybe continuing to have to like fix and fix and fix and fix, and it's like just as soon as I fix it, another thing is popping up. This can be really impacting your sense of well-being now. And I feel like you're gonna look at this and say, I don't think that I want to do this anymore. I don't think that this is where it's at for me anymore. And so you can sort of know this because it feels like this is becoming more apparent. Simultaneously, you can feel like, okay, so that's happening. You feel like you're making progress with something that you can have a lot of anxiety about, or you can have felt very stuck within and very stressed out because maybe you didn't want to have to do this. I do feel like this has also been like many, many headaches as well. And so also working with this too, I feel like it brings about some concerns that you've had for the future and stuff. And like, isn't this gonna, if I don't do this anymore, are things gonna become more stressful? Is it gonna be worse? Like what's gonna be happening? But I feel like it's gonna be different than you expected to. You know, when you're sort of drained and you have to look at the outlook of something, and so you're not accurately perceiving what that's going to look like. This feels like you want to step away from this, that once you do, there's going to be a huge alleviation and it's just going to be monumentally better. But it also takes you, I think, allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to do this, because it takes courage, it takes bravery, it takes motivation, it takes ultimately willingness to execute what needs to be executed here. And I think really trusting yourself to know what's up for you. But yeah, you can be having a difficult time because you can feel like this situation sort of is distorting your energy. And so you can feel like you're not like thinking the most clearly, which also kind of keeps you in that situation. But then getting to this point where you're like, I don't think that I want to do this anymore. And even though I can be feeling stuck, it feels like this feeling is becoming more real. And I think that's also when hope can come in, that this doesn't just have to be your situation. And I think too that you can be deterred from taking action here because you're worried about how things are going to be. But also too, like, what if you don't exist in this reality, in that future that you're worrying about? What if the future would look very different for you? What if it actually would be much more fantastic than this and you'd be happy that you made this choice? Then I think going off of that, because this feels like that in between, I can make a choice or like put off making a choice or not do something because I'm worried about how stressful that'll make things later on, and I want to avoid that, versus this is really not feeling like where I want to be and I'm gonna do something about it, and whatever comes is gonna come and I'm gonna be ready to figure that out, because I need to stay true to myself and how I'm feeling, and that's what I'm going to be doing here, and that's really what makes the difference. And those are the two paths or the two choices that you have here. Some of you, there's a conversation that's going to be connected with this, or an announcement, resignation for some of you. I'm seeing Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck, so it seems very much like this is a much more clear thing now at this point. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.